2018 is going to be a big year for gaming, and we're going to be talking about some of our favorite stuff that's not even out yet, as well as some of the biggest news of the week. Stay with us, because Inventory Full happens
Popcorn
right now.
Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews.
I don't blame him.
Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
I think. '18 is going to be a huge year for gaming. We're going to talk about the year ahead, as well as some of the biggest headlines and some more culture right now on Inventory Full. Don't you go changing.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
Welcome to Inventory Full right here. Thanks to the Popcorn Nut Network for hosting us tonight. We're live on Twitch. If you're not watching us on Twitch, well, you damn well should be. We're live every Monday at Inventory Full PT on twitch.tv. So, welcome in. I'm one of your hosts, the internet's Mark B. Donica. You can find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica, joined by Nate Miller.
What's up, nerds? Nate Miller here. You can find me on social media at DogLikeNate.
Joined by Stacey Shuttleworth.
Hey guys, I'm Stacey Shuttleworth. You can find me all over the internet at Stacey Shuttles.
Joined by Patrick Dees.
I'm back. So
Yeah,
good,
right.
good back. Good to be here.
Can we get a shield spam in the chat, please? Shield spam.
We started with the shield spam.
The What's Up Nerds, I really missed that. I realized that, it didn't hit me how much I missed that until right now. Anyway, what's up, guys? You can find me at P to the D's on Twitter, or Truly Slide on your console of choice. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Surprisingly
I'm
good.
surprised we're still here. I was like, there's still a show. I'm back.
We're alive.
We haven't been canceled. I know.
Haven't been canceled yet.
Fair enough.
Say the
0
C
days
word.
since cancellation. We're back.
Yes.
So, Patrick, you missed our Game of the Year talk. That's
I
fine.
did.
We know exactly what you were going to pick.
Yeah.
It was Xbox One X's.
I like me someone.
Player
Knack?
Unknowns.
Yeah, it was definitely PUBG.
Yeah.
Knack 2?
Knack 2.
Yeah, to everybody's favorite game.
Yeah.
For sure.
Actually, I did hear the Knack 2 was pretty good.
That is not
No,
a
I
thing.
did. I heard it was pretty good.
Stop.
It's
You're going to get
playable?
it.
But it was
Speaking
just,
of canceled.
just as surprising as how the great reviews that Paddington 2 is getting for some reason.
Okay, fair enough.
Either way.
Yeah.
Either way. We're here. We're going to be talking about some of our favorite games that we haven't even played yet.
Oh, I know.
Because we're excited about 2018, as well as some interesting, kind of weird news stories from the week, and some that are very expected. But let's get started with what we've been playing. Patrick, what have you been up to? What you been playing, bro?
I have been playing a whole lot of Assassin's Creed Origins. I told you guys,
Really?
and you folks at home, coming into that winter time, I really like to curl up with a nice RPG. I did it last year with Final Fantasy 15. I kind of, if there's a big one that I can shelf and save, I'm now 62 hours deep in a Bayek of Siwa's adventure. I'm literally at the very end. There's one more mission that I'm kind of I'm not going to finish that up yet. I'm going to go clear up the rest of the map. You can still go clean it up a little bit. And man, do I like this game. It is so witchery. And so that's why I'm really anxious to talk to you about it, Stacey, because I know you kind of bounced off of it pretty hard. And maybe you're back.
I'm back on it, yeah.
But here's the thing, I think this game would have been crazy to review, right? Because I think all those people have to cram and do this, get it in, play. They get a release copy and 7 hours later have to have a review up. My favorite thing about this isn't even the main narrative at all. I mean, I appreciate that. And I think Bayek's one of my favorite characters of the year. But I kind of just like playing Egypt Super Cop. If this game was called Egypt Super Cop, I would love it no less. Right? I've saved all the cats and trees and rescued so many people from cages. I just love, I think it's a cool setting to bounce around in. So the main storyline is what it is. But dude, I think they crushed it. I think it's a technological achievement. It looks really good on that Xbox One X. It's hot. And I think really deep. It's warm in here. I'm also feeling. Is it in Egypt now?
Yes.
We're in Egypt.
Welcome to indoor Egypt.
Also sweating a little bit, but man, I think people slept on that game.
And it's on women.
I know, and men.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Sorry, I shouldn't have assumed.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
Sorry,
good.
Steve.
It's good. It's good.
I'm happy.
I want to play it.
I
keep
have
hearing
it,
good
but
things
it's
about
at the bottom of my list just of stuff to play.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in a rush to play. It's not going anywhere.
And you're gonna get it for $20 on one of these sales. I wouldn't. But man, there's so much. There's so much there. This game just keeps going in a way that I will say my main criticism to if I can air one if I
Take a
may,
moment. Take a moment.
is that like, do you guys know like when you play RPGs and you have like you when you want to mainline the story for a bit, right? You can usually go story to story to story, and you can't do this because the level jumps, like literally anything that's 2 or 3 levels above you is indestructible. Just don't
Okay,
bother
interesting.
engaging. And they do this thing, which I think lends itself to kind of a weird pacing of the main story, is that like every time you jump from one story beat to another, it goes, yeah, come back in 5 levels. Go play a whole lot of side quests. So you literally kind of can't mainline this, and that's the one thing I think has that. I think it's weird to criticize an open world game from pacing perspective, but like in GTA, if I wanted to just play straight through that, I can.
I have a question.
Yeah, I got answers.
There are loot boxes in that game, right?
With in-game currency, not real-world
can't
currency.
buy anything.
You can buy a whole lot, but not
Buy real
boxes.
stupid stuff.
And well, so
It's
what you
great.
can buy is the store. It's like hidden behind several menus. So if you want it, it's there. Like if I want like a kick-ass new weapon or a joke weapon, you can buy like a giant-sized Q-tip, and it's like it makes this.
I really want that.
I know, right? And admittedly, I actually have spent some money on some things because there's like a horse that's on fire. It's kind of rad.
There's nothing you can buy that will speed up your progression.
Well, you can buy like but you can buy like ability points, but it still doesn't help you level, and that's what determines like your damage and your overall health.
Okay.
So if you want if you want to like expedite I want to fill out one part of the tree faster than I would have otherwise, you can buy those. You can buy resources. There's crafting in the game, so if you want to shortcut resource gathering, you can also do that. Which I like that it's there for me. I don't have to engage with that if I don't want to. And Stacey can attest this. It's not in your face like at all.
No.
It's like. At no point does it ever like go out of its way to go, you could craft that, you can go hunt like 40 sheeps, or you could, it's way deep in menus, and it's kind of rad that it's there.
Good.
Yeah, you almost have to accidentally stumble upon that menu for the first time if you're not on the home screen.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed has always been like that with its transactions. Like with Syndicate, I knew that they were there, but they were hidden behind menus, and they really didn't affect me.
No, I didn't spend $1 on Syndicate. I did buy Bayek of Siwa, like it's really slick, like black ninja costume.
Fair enough.
That's
It's fun
appropriate
dressing him up and
It
changing out
is.
his mounts. It's one of the joys of the game.
I'm usually a death camel, or I have like this the other thing I spent real world money on was a horse that's on fire, and so he looks really. I mean, death is coming when Bayek shows up on a flaming horse.
Fair.
I
I
know.
accidentally set my horse on fire, and it was not nearly as fun. It
He's like, I don't need to pay for this.
It's the best
was
part
a
of
bad idea.
Bad investment.
The combat is so great though, because when you light people on fire, they do the efforts. You know when you're recording VO, and they do this, oh, ah, oh, hot, 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 oh, ah. But then they're also smack talking
Realism.
between it. So they're like, you're going to die, Bayek.
they're
Oh,
on
ah, ah, oh, I'm coming for you, Bayek. Oh, ah, ah. It's kind of great.
Beautiful.
Yep.
I'm
Sounds
looking
very
forward to
immersive.
it. Just
Yes.
Yeah.
for the sake of the show, let's keep moving
Yeah.
just because we have a lot of 2018 talk to do, and some of the stories that we
do.
have are pretty short. Stacey, what have you been playing the most this week?
Jeez.
Magic question.
I guess it's between Assassin's Creed and Shadow of War. I have not gotten out of the first city in Shadow of War, guys, so I really cannot update you much. I just keep going after the commanders
There's a
and
lot
the
there.
captains.
Did you beat Shadow War?
I did.
Did you beat?
There's beat it, and
Did you
I
beat it,
saw
or did
credits
you-
roll. There's a
Okay.
second, so and I
Yes.
won't wreck anything.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking
Yes.
about?
I beat it
Where you
too.
can play for
Yes.
like literally
Yes.
forever if
Yeah,
you
we
want to.
talked about
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I got
Yeah.
to that point,
Okay.
and I want to go back. I just
No, you don't.
maybe I do,
No, I
No.
thought I did.
and you don't.
No.
Okay.
I don't want to sit and grind to get.
It is
20, it's like
such a
20
grind, I
levels,
know.
and then when you finally catch up, they just stick you with another one. So, just
Okay.
take your time, enjoy it.
I am just
do it.
kicking
Okay.
it in
I'm
Egypt.
there.
I am in.
Yeah.
You haven't left the first city though,
in Shadow of War.
right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I like clearing areas. So the fact that you literally can't
No.
clear
Yeah, you can't
the
do that.
area
No.
Oh, really?
has
No.
really slowed me down.
No, it's a live. It's a living game. Every time you do something, when you complete
know
a
how to handle
mission,
it.
like time passes,
Right.
and so
Yeah.
like the orcs will like fight each other, and they'll
Yeah.
they'll go hunting or whatever, and there's a time limit. So as the days tick down, as you go do something else, that event resolves, and they could be successful and get stronger, or they could die to what they're hunting, or they
Okay.
could duel, and
Mm-hmm.
so stuff is constantly happening. You can't be like, all right, I'm gonna go do everything over here, and then I'm gonna go do everything over
Yeah,
there.
it's real throwing me off.
It feels like one of those.
That's awesome.
It feels like one of those birthday candles you blow out that just
Yeah.
like relights. You're like,
kidding.
just
Doing it.
Now there's two,
Done with this area.
and it's legendary.
That's awful.
But I'm really enjoying it.
Good.
still.
At least
Yeah,
you're
it's
enjoying
fun,
it.
right?
And it's really interesting. I'm trying to push through because I need to be able to recruit my own.
Yeah, you
orcs
gotta get
and
past
friends.
that first act.
I know.
Game
I'm-
changer.
I'm going.
Yeah.
I think last time I stopped at the point where it's time to move on.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm ready.
Right on.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'd still really want to play it. Nate, what have you been playing the most? I have two. Well, I mean, I have your list, but I'm actually going to take a wild
Inside
guess
baseball.
and say that it wasn't PUBG.
I mean, I did play a lot of PUBG.
Okay.
But it's probably not what I played the
is
most.
not.
What did you play the most?
Say it proudly, Nate. Say it proudly, Nate. You can't do it. I knew it.
Come on, tell us.
Oh.
I've been playing World of Warcraft.
What?
You
Man.
resubbed. Is this
Yeah.
correct? God.
Yeah.
Why, I was saying this off mic, but nobody says that proudly. You know what I did this week? I resubbed and feel great about myself.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm done.
I've never heard anybody
Yeah,
say
I was
Twist
in
the
a
knife.
low point.
I know. I know.
No, they just put out a
I'm
new
your friend.
patch a couple weeks ago, and I played at the beginning of the most recent expansion, and then like there's a lot of mechanics that were set to gate you, so that you would have to go over time and you have to wait for things to come back, and like there's a whole thing of a resource that like every week you would get more like percentage from the resources. And it's that expansion is at that part of its cycle where all that's gone.
Yeah.
So like where before, for example, like one of the things you need is artifact research. And before I had some tokens that were like 4,000, 5,000. I log back in and I'm getting like start off with like 400 million and still and then
is that
turn
right?
another one in
Yeah.
and then I start getting them for like 2 billion and I'm like, okay,
all right.
I'm glad I'm here now. So
Right.
I caught up like what would have been, 30 weeks whatever worth of
That's ridiculous.
stuff. I mean, it is and it isn't because
Good-
it's
good
still,
ridiculous.
It,
Good ridiculous.
It makes sense because they definitely solve the issue that Destiny has of where like for the hardcore players, it rewards you for doing all your dailies,
Right,
doing all your
right,
weeklies,
right.
doing your world quests. You incrementally get a little bit better, but also at the bottom, you can still do stuff. You can still do the LFR, which is like the raid matchmaking, basically.
Okay.
You can still feel like you're, playing the game. Like you don't need to be in a high-end raid team to be doing stuff. But yeah, it's cool. There's a couple new zones that I hadn't got to play through. When one of the new ones, Argus, was really cool. Like it was just very different than any of the other zones that they've ever made.
Okay.
It had a lot really good story involvement, but still a good amount of like side quests and stuff and things to do. Nothing really felt repetitive, and there was a ton of cinematics that were really interesting. But also, probably most importantly, I don't think they're planning on ending it anytime soon, but they're you reach with like a story when you start out, like TV shows have the issue where it's like, all right, the guy's learning to be a hero, and then okay, now he's a full-on hero. Okay,
Yeah.
now he beats his first guy, and
Right.
then eventually it's like, well, we beat that guy, and then we beat that god, and then we beat the elder gods, and then we beat so like we're kind of like super duper heroes at this point,
Right.
and we're fighting things that are like very tied to the core lore of Warcraft itself. So that's exciting.
So
is
you're
cool.
you're
Yeah.
becoming gods, so now you have to fight each other.
I mean, I
Endgame.
wouldn't be surprised. Well, you
Quote,
have to
unquote.
remember, technically, it's just me, right? My character. Everybody else is they're just there to help me.
Of course.
Sure.
Right.
Jesus
Makes
Christ.
sense to me.
So
Yep.
full disclosure, the game I've been playing the most has been Minecraft Sky Factory. Oh boy, do I love that mod! But the game I want to talk about is Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy.
I'm so
You
glad
can
you're
play the
playing
clip
this.
without the sound on.
I'm so glad you're
So
playing
one
this.
of our subscribers, Lucifer Catnip, bought me this game. He's
Oh,
a
wow.
friend of mine,
Okay.
Devin.
Got
But
it.
he bought me the game saying, "I want you to stream this and I want you to rage." And I gotta tell you, I had so much fun with this game. It was so ridiculous and silly. This is sort of the beginning of level 2, but at any point you can go back to the beginning.
Okay.
But and the physics of the
mean by falling?
hammer by falling.
Yeah.
Like the physics of the hammer. So I was
Oh no, oh no.
and back.
Oh.
That is the first.
That's like the first jump.
That's the first jump.
And
So
so-
I didn't feel terrible because it wasn't all the way to the beginning.
Yeah.
Technically.
Right.
But yeah, I was laughing. There's like you're talking about efforts. The guy has efforts sometimes where you're like, whoa, like just little tiny little things. There's like smooth jazz. There are definitely things that are frustrating where you could be doing the same motion with your mouse and it does something different.
Okay.
And that can
you
be
were
frustrating.
playing with a mouse.
You have to.
Oh, I thought there was a controller support too.
Nope.
Got it. Okay.
Oh, if there is, I wouldn't want to play it because everybody's playing with their mouse. But yeah, if you want to watch that whole stream, go ahead and go to our past broadcast. Check that out. It was a lot of fun, but I thought it was hilarious. I like the challenge. I'm gonna keep going. But that was the biggest fall. Was reaching. That was about half an hour in, and then it took me an hour to get back up to that level, and I went, I'm done. I can't. I'm done. But yeah, I had an absolute blast. If there are any games that you want us to stream that we don't have, just flip and buy them for us.
Did you get to the
effective.
point where Benefati actually starts saying things to you? Like,
He's from the jump.
From the beginning.
oh, it's from the
From the
beginning. Okay,
beginning.
I thought it was a little bit further in.
No,
Okay,
no, like
cool.
there was a moment where I got up a really hard. It was this really small tunnel that you have to climb vertically, and I got through it, and then. And actually, it was after that fall when I came back to it. He was like, "Oh, you've done this part before. Just do the same thing you did last time." And I was like, "Oh, you know what? I will."
You know.
Thanks for the tip,
Yeah,
Bennett Foddy. But yeah, I love it. I would recommend it if you're easy to rage. I actually got less mad on a consistent basis at this than I did Cuphead, because Cuphead, a lot of it was, "Oh, that's my fault. That's my fault. That's my fault."
Right.
A lot of this is the game. And I'm totally fine with admitting that, and everybody knows that the game is rough. So
Is this the point of this game, like an exercise in patience, right? Is that the
I think
meta
so.
game? What you're actually leveling up is your own patience?
So when you
The
beat
point
the
of this game is to make a game that's really difficult and frustrating to play.
and
Yeah, but I
perfect
feel like
for
there's
streamers.
something. Yeah.
But that's the thing is this was
putting all
developed
this
for
meaning in
this was
there.
developed for a humble bundle.
Okay.
So it wasn't supposed to be expensive, but once I don't know who streamed it first, but once people started streaming it, it started becoming popular. But when you beat the game, there's a thing that says, "Hey, if you're streaming, you can't click to the next stage." So there's something in the end game that's really like nice and
cool.
pleasant
Yep.
and cool.
And a reward for you if only you beat it.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
it's like if you're streaming, turn it off.
That's
And a
rad.
lot of the people that I've seen stream it that beat it, if I haven't seen anybody actually stream it. They go to full cam and go, "Wow, this is really cool."
Nice.
But so I haven't
It's a blank
experienced.
screen that says, "Say this is really cool."
Yeah. This is really.
How about it?
Read it.
How about
Fuck
it?
yourself, San Diego.
But also, actually, I don't know. There are a couple of games that we stream that you can buy through Twitch. So, and if you buy them through Twitch through us, we get a little bit of a kickback. So help us out. But yeah, I had a great time. If you want to watch me stream that, go back there. Let's get to some news. Let's watch a really cool Heart of the Storm, Heroes of the Storm. Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah.
I never get it right. So Heroes of the Storm is getting a skin pack that's turning everybody into a mecha. So as a result, we got this sweet trailer that's sort of, well, it's not sort of, it's an anime intro that takes some of the main characters and some of the mecha designs that we're seeing, and has made it real and made it look really appealing. Does anybody else want to see, like, Patrick, I know you're not too much of an anime guy.
I'm like shaking my head. I'm like, no.
So, but you have no say, like, whatever. If they make it, I'm not gonna watch it. Is essentially like,
Make this anime?
if we have a mecha Heroes of the Storm anime.
Nah, it doesn't do anything
terrible.
for me. Like,
But it's a major
awful.
crossover between all of the Blizzard things, but also a mecha anime.
a MOBA anime, like neither of those two things. It's a Venn diagram of like they're like, no, I don't like
I
either
disagree.
of them.
I disagree.
Weird Gundam.
I don't
ring.
think it's the MOBA thing. It's the forced mecha Gundam thing. If they could do a Heroes of the Storm anime show that just revolved around the heroes being pulled from their respective worlds and being forced to fight in the Nexus, and you make some of the villains bad guys, like they could do that.
Yeah.
But then
Like
forcing the robot thing is like, why is Abathur a giant robot?
Well, they did.
is it even
Why not?
Abathur, or
It's-
does he just look like
Right,
Abathur?
No, it's Abathur, but
Yeah.
it's
No,
it's
it is,
for
but I'm saying for
it's just for the expansion. Like, it's a cool thing right now
Right.
for the expansion.
Yeah.
But I do like giant robots. I'm just
That-
saying.
you're looking forward to Genlock
I am.
coming soon to Rooster Teeth.
So
their
excited.
mecha anime.
Yes.
If only
But
they
yeah,
could make that game fun.
here, yeah, same. Like we only play it for the Overwatch skins.
When do we have to?
Yeah, when we have to. I still haven't gotten Officer Diva.
You have to play.
Yeah, I had to play.
I had to get my police.
Especially
You had to.
You had to get your Diva
needed
skin.
it.
Yeah.
She gets so very little, but she's getting something.
She's getting
you
a
saw
Gothic
the
Lolita
black
Neko.
kitty.
Getting a cat mech.
Wild.
Can't wait to see
Wild.
that every game.
We're gonna. I don't think we'll talk about all of those skins next week because they're just Overwatch skins.
Sure.
But we talked about Overwatch.
Get
Coming
home,
up.
drink.
All right, this is really interesting. We have a picture for this.
Uh-oh.
Sony introduces Totaku, which are amiibo-looking toys coming to us from ThinkGeek and GameStop.
Sure.
Nope.
And they're coming out March 23rd, $10 a piece. We see Sackboy, Crash, Parappa the Rappa, a Wipeout car, Kratos, the Hunter from Bloodborne, and Heihachi Mishima from Tekken.
Right.
What a
There's gonna be a
terrible
lot of
selection
wipeouts
of-
left on store shelves, right?
what-
Like there's gonna
I
be
don't know why
lonely-
Wipeout's cool.
Yeah.
Why did they pick
Right.
Wipeout?
No, that's what I'm saying. They're gonna be left on
Even,
store
like,
shelves.
Parappa.
Fucking Parappa's
That's for
rad.
old school. Now here's one of the things
mean-
that people go, hey, these are like amiibos, but they don't do anything. People historically have bought amiibos because, oh, hey, they're cheap looking figures of my favorite video game characters and nobody else is making them. Oh, they also put stuff in my game? Cool.
Right.
So Sony not having to deal with that, whatever, you know? Like, I figured they could have done something with the touchpad on the PS4 and put something in there, but whatever. What do y'all think? I think this is fun. This is fine.
I think it's fun, and I think that I think to your point, I don't know, for years Nintendo has all of this stable of amazing characters, so of course they would have gone this route, and and Sony after 20 years is finally kind of catching up to that, right? They're things that we recognize from when we were kids.
Right.
Like
I think
the Hunter from Bloodborne.
I mean totally, which is when I was 12. I don't know. I think it's cool. I mean, whatever. It's not my jam, but I kind of
$10
think
a
Kratos
pop
is pretty cool.
and ultimately if you like any of those characters a lot, like you said Kratos is pretty cool. I'm personally not that much of a fan of any of these characters, but for the people who are, they're gonna flip and buy all of them.
No, totally. Can I take that back though? I think Kratos is arguably the worst character ever. Calliope! He's terrible.
But also-
I'm excited about the new one.
God of War 4 version of Kratos.
I'm very excited
That's some
about.
hype.
Yes.
Some hype building.
Yeah,
Hey, mate.
yeah.
Yeah, but what if the game is awful?
Whatever.
I
You got
think
a
it's
little
gonna-
Kratos with an axe. You
think
see that
it's-
axe? It's a cool looking axe.
I think it's gonna
Pretty
make me
cool
cry.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look at them. What are those? Sorry.
I think it's gonna make me cry.
Really,
Yeah, yeah.
Cool, I'm happy
Cool enough.
for you.
The Totaku.
It's one cut.
I ain't buying any. I'm waiting for round 2. Now let's talk. Speaking of Nintendo,
Yes.
let's talk about some real shit.
Oh shit.
So all
Real
this-
shit?
so- real shit.
Oh, God.
So they had a Nintendo Direct that we talked about, where some cool stuff happened. But at the end they said, "Oh, one more thing."
Yeah.
And it was this, and you can actually play this with the sound on, just a little high. So let's hit this. Nobody knows what's going on by this point.
Nope.
All they do is they release a 2.5-3 minute video, and details come later. We get cardboard.
We do.
What did you see this first, or did you hear about it? Did you watch the trailer before?
No, I had kind of heard that they were doing some cardboard mix-up thing, but people articulating what happens in this trailer don't do it justice. So
Yeah,
then I
you
had to
can't. I
go,
tried
wait,
to
what?
Yeah.
And I'd heard that, and I didn't make any sense, so I had to go tune in. I definitely
So-
didn't see it live.
Google cardboard to the next degree.
It's so good. This
So-
is genius.
You can utilize the Switch and the Joy-Cons with various buildable cardboard cutouts, essentially, and the emphasis is on creativity. And this is like Mario Paint in the 3D printer era, and I absolutely love it.
I do too.
Have no some of this stuff, like the piano. How the hell does that work?
It's incredible.
Yeah. Something with the sensors on the end of the Joy-Cons, maybe.
No, it is. It's their IR sensors, and so they're very.
And judging on the distance.
To where they are. Yes, it's incredible. I actually think the engineering that goes into this is unbelievable, and what a creative application of technology. I think this is so dope.
Leave it to the Japanese.
I literally but they also have as many misses as they do hits. But I feel like this is Nintendo taking a victory lap. They're
thinking outside the
look,
box.
we had an amazing
Literally.
2017.
And
Here's
now let's
2018.
take it home.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so cool.
the
It's
flippin'
so, I know,
robot!
I know. It's so cool.
Well, what I think is
I wanted to call my nephews immediately. They're like 4 and 2, and I'm like, Uncle Patrick is gonna have the coolest shit for you this
Is
Christmas.
this why you're getting a Switch?
I'm so excited. No, a long flight is, but I kind of can't wait to like mess around with like a $70 cardboard kit, like overpriced cardboard. I love it when they start coloring them and like
So there was a camera,
It's
there was
so
like
good.
a gun con, there was like a driving apparatus, there was a kick pedal, a joystick.
Yes.
So the first 2 products that are being released are
Oh, look at
the
that.
Variety Kit, which is $70, and then the robot suit that we saw is going to be $80. And both of those come with software.
It's insane.
And we're looking a little bit at the creatability. I love the little cardboard
I do
robot
too.
dudes.
It's so dope.
But this is
So-
if you could, like, hey, Nintendo, what is Nintendo?
Yeah.
This is Nintendo.
Amen.
And this is why Nintendo also 420.
I know.
We
yeah,
see you,
yeah.
Nintendo.
Oh, yeah. 100%. So
I'm gonna
so
pick this up
how
and go
do
see
I- where is it?
Rampage.
Yes. So Mark, that sounds like a great idea. You're gonna put cardboard on Switches. When are you gonna release it?
420.
Woo!
But I'm gonna pick this up. I'm gonna stop at my local game store. I'm gonna pick up Nintendo Labo. And I'm gonna go see Rampage.
Yeah.
And while I'm watching the trailers, I'm gonna start building my stuff, and I'm gonna have a little
think-
cardboard robot down
Yeah,
the aisle.
yeah.
I think the genius of this that's like not being talked about is, remember, the Switch came out last year.
Yeah.
So there's no way that this wasn't already in the pipeline.
100%.
So like they created the Switch with this in mind.
Yeah. So it's bringing motion controls back in a huge way.
It's incredible.
Is there going to be a response from Sony or Xbox? Xbox being the folks who have VR eventually, and they stopped supporting the Kinect.
Right.
Whereas Sony has VR.
Yep.
How do you think, is there going to be a response?
I don't think so. I
Not
think they're
anytime
fine.
soon.
Like
So
with
they-
that, they're
yeah, it's their
fine
own
letting
niche.
Nintendo
Yeah, they're not-
create, like, compete in their own lane. Reggie was really interesting right before this. When they released the Labo stuff, he was saying that like he doesn't even think that Nintendo can meaningfully bring anything to 4K. So he's gonna let his competition play in that space, and I think that's reciprocated, right? Like I think that they're just gonna let them kind of do their own thing.
Yeah, they're different markets.
It's incredible though.
And but
It's-
what the backlash of this quote backlash has been really interesting, because there are a lot of people who, like us, are like, that looks awesome, and then a lot of the just sourpuss internet just hating is like, why am I gonna buy something
I
like
don't
this?
want this.
It's like, okay, don't.
It's not for
yeah,
you.
yeah, totally. Wait, people hate shit on the internet?
Oh yeah, sorry. so
What
so
is this
the internet.
yeah, but break it down for me. But you're, okay. Thank you. Thanks
Man.
for breaking that down, Mark.
Dude, but I'm looking forward to this. This may not be a day one for me, though I want that robot. I just wonder, like they showed the kid doing it. Now, how about a 6'4" person who's still growing into their own body? I got you, Patrick. Or myself. Like what? Now they say for the young are the young at heart, or the kids are the kids at heart. But what about for those kids at heart who are giants?
Yeah, have huge mitts. I called my nephews immediately. I was like, I can't wait to play this with you. I got like so excited. I think it's awesome.
Man, it's gonna be fun, and I'm real excited
yeah.
for it. And I mean, speaking to how the other brands are gonna react to it, Sony's just getting to Amiibo.
Yeah, I know.
They got a long way to go.
It'll take a minute. The steering wheel with the pedal. We're gonna do some hardcore drifting. Man,
Dude, and dude, also the cost of goods on this is nothing. They're selling cardboard for $80. I mean, a lot of engineering went to get to this point, so you chalk that up to R&D and you amortize that over years. But like, their cost of goods on one of those sheets is like 8 cents. Like,
I don't think it's just cardboard.
I mean, I'm
I think
sure
it's like
it's not.
a smart board that's got like some circuitry or something put into it. That's what it looked like.
and string, cardboard and string and rubber bands.
I will take that to the bank
the
that they sell
magic.
that for $80 and doesn't cost them more than $8. Like, do you know
also
what I mean?
depends on
I'm with you. I think the
if it's-
engineering's magic, Nate. I'm just telling you, like,
No,
it's not
I
only
just-
genius, it's highly profitable. It's incredible.
Well, I'm not saying it's not profitable.
That's
I'm just
totally
saying I
profitable.
don't think it's just like, oh,
I
here's
hope
some
it's-
cardboard off the street.
also, I'm
like,
not
it's
saying
like
this
a
either. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I
You're
mean,
right.
they've got a yeah.
I hope
also-
it's durable. Kids don't play with things
No,
gingerly,
yeah, that's what I'm
right?
saying.
And
I'm
like,
pretty sure it's gonna be like a stronger.
I hope
it's
so.
It
Like
has to be.
yeah.
cardboard poly kind of thing with some circuitry
Yeah.
or something in it. Because
I
there's
also-
got to be sensors for some of those.
That's how they do
There's
the
no-
piano.
sort of
right? I think there's
yeah.
actually a light,
receptors.
like an IR
Yeah,
reflector.
there's gotta
with
be.
the keys. I was reading a little bit about that. Wired's got a really good magazine.
Did you see anything about if it's going to be physical copies of the software or digital. Because that's even more.
I don't.
Because if this is supposed to be sort of, well, I mean, maybe not the robot, but if there's supposed to be some stuff where you pick it up, take it to a friend's house or whatever, do you want multiple game carts? Are they going to make the software low data, like a couple of gigs, and just give you a code? Because like it looks like a construction book, not or like a notepad with how to build. Doesn't look like. It doesn't look like they're regular software boxes. So not to say that it can't, they're just going for a cool look with those.
Sure.
But if that's even less if they didn't have to physically print those disgusting Switch cartridges. I haven't eaten one yet. I really...
Do you want one of those or a Tide Pod?
Tide Pod? I go with the Switch because that one won't kill me. So we were going to talk about how Destiny 2 screwed up again, but I don't want to talk about that shit.
I don't either.
Who does?
I don't. Needless to say, it's in the news.
Hey,
Yes.
who's still playing Destiny? That's news. So let's talk about 2018. So, man, there's some good shit. If you could play a 2018 release right now, and this is my E3 question, but I'll play it right now. Okay. If you could play something that's confirmed for 2018 right now, what would you play and why?
Who are you asking?
Anybody. Who wants to take?
The answer
we know the answer.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, it's
that we know is coming out.
I know.
Said
Confirmed.
They said.
Come on.
They did say.
Come on. You guys are so so
They told us.
delusional.
They told us.
God, there's no way. I want you guys to have this. I know you still sleep with Kingdom Hearts 2 under your pillows. I want you to have this. There's just no way this is happening.
They said it.
I don't know. Look, we know they're working on it. They show the Toy Story level. I don't know. I'm gonna stick in reality, Mark. Can I answer?
Well,
there
was a leak recently that showed that there might be a couple of other worlds, like Monsters Inc., and it showed Sora, Donald, and Goofy in their monster forms, but those are all rumors, so we're not talking about those. Patrick, what do you want to talk about?
Come on, it's Red Dead.
Really?
Yes.
I thought you were gonna say Anthem.
So Anthem's high on my list. I have like 6 or 7 that I want to talk about.
Like, 6 or 7.
I think if
You
2018,
don't have that much time, Patrick.
Dude, Red Dead, look, it's a sequel to arguably one of the best video games of all time. I think John Marston is one of my favorite protagonists ever. The game is unmitigated genius, and I'm very excited about this next one. And Rockstar's killing it. I don't know, I don't know how you felt about GTA 5, but again, it's also a masterpiece.
We still do have very little data and info.
I'm just very excited about it. I'm getting worried though. We're coming into, they said early 2018, right?
They said early 2018.
Yeah, here we are in early 2018, and we have not seen another trailer. I'm getting a little nervous. Do you guys think that's coming out this year? Rockstar, do you think they'll push it again? Yeah, Red Dead.
If anything, it'll push till fall. I think.
I could see that.
If they're going spring, they still want to hit that 2018 date, but they're just gonna let it ride a little bit more.
So is it Anthem for you then?
No, God no. Just
Whoa.
Yeah.
You look disgusted,
dude. I don't give a good goddamn about modern BioWare. Just because it didn't hit me. It's nothing against BioWare.
Oh.
It's just one of those things that has not been a part of my I didn't play KOTOR.
Got it.
I didn't I want to go back to Jade Empire.
Wait.
KOTOR's so good.
Yeah, I didn't play KOTOR.
KOTOR's so good. Can we play KOTOR on the stream? I'll buy it for you if you play it on stream.
Actually, I might have it. I bought a big Star Wars pack a little while ago.
I'll buy it for you.
But
it's
just one of those ones.
And you talk about Star Wars stuff.
Yeah. I'm a Star Wars
I know,
man.
Nate's disgusted. He's calling
here's
me
the thing,
poser.
is-
I believe the word you're looking for is poser.
I don't even want to.
Fine, don't.
Mark,
Whatever.
if that is your real name,
Mine's Yoshi.
I don't
I'm
even
kidding.
know you anymore.
Do you? I mean,
what is your what is your game, Mark? If it's not Anthem?
No, I'm kidding.
I
no,
thought for sure.
No, it's not. It's not going to be Anthem.
And I was worried that you were going to say no because, not to interrupt, but I thought you were going to say, because EA sucks and fuck EA. I thought that's where you were going with it, and I'm glad it's not that because BioWare's got a pretty good track record.
BioWare's got a pretty good track record. As long as it's the main studio doing it,
Yep.
there's some confidence there. A Way Out? No. Because fuck the Oscars.
Fuck the Oscars.
Although
Why not?
But fuck the Oscars.
I'm gonna
Way
do two things at once. I'm gonna say a 2018 game and a wild prediction.
Go ahead.
Mortal Kombat 11. I'm just saying. No, I don't know, dude. I've thought about the 2018 release game a lot, and there aren't any that have been announced and confirmed that I'm like super totally into.
Nothing's getting you right now.
Yeah, like God of War,
2018,
cool.
you
I'll
want to
play
play
it.
a Mortal Kombat game?
Yes, I do. I
mean,
love
the
the
last
lore
few-
of
yeah, I
Mortal
know.
Kombat, and the way that the last one ended story-wise was super flippin' cool. And NetherRealm does a pretty good job with Injustice, but they
Yeah.
knock Mortal Kombat out of the
Totally, I
park.
agree.
And the stuff that they did with Injustice means that Mortal Kombat's going to be even better. And that's always been one of my, since I was a kid, since Mortal Kombat 1, I have played and beat every single Mortal Kombat game.
So I understand your
I used to
excitement.
love them, but I think 7.
Oh, sure, 7 was garbage, but
the
9,
one,
Nine was
when they
great.
brought the story
Yes,
back
9
and
was great.
restarted,
I
rebooted
agree.
everything, added the kids in 10, and now where 11 is going, they've
Maybe
sort
I'll give
of-
it another chance.
They've sort of Star Trek
Probably
2009 did, where they went back to the
Yes,
beginning
yes.
and then are retelling
Yes,
the core
yes.
story. But
But I feel like there's so many
I never-
rad games that like literally nothing on the horizon that we even know about does anything for you right now. You're just not feeling it. Like, because I think 2017 was one for the books, right? I think 2018 is slated to be on par with that if all of these things come out that we know already.
So I'm super hyped on my Switch right now, and
Okay.
just because that's one where I know, I'll be able to come back and I'll be able to take it with me and
Yeah.
play it. I had a wonderful. I'm waiting for my car to get fixed. I had to pause Breath of the Wild to drive home, to turn my Switch back on
Yeah,
to keep
sure.
playing.
That's so great. That's so
And
great.
we don't really have like the two big confirmed Nintendo first party games that we have are Yoshi and Kirby.
Okay.
Those are the big two, and they're gonna be good. They're gonna be fun. I'm
Yep.
gonna play Yoshi with my wife. We've done all of the Yarn games together, and it's been
Oh,
really
cool.
fun. But in terms of like we haven't any of the other mainstay stuff, we don't know more about Metroid Prime 4. You know,
Nope.
that would be a super hype one.
That
and
comes
imagine
out this year, though, yeah?
Labo support. I don't know, because they would have shown something. I think they would have shown something.
I think it's their fall game, maybe. No?
Really?
I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know.
Like
just.
they'll
I,
come out hard at E3.
I guess I just feel like they had this locked and loaded, right? Like they launched with Zelda. Their next beat was fall was Mario. Labo's Q1,
Yeah,
early
yeah.
Q2, and then maybe
That's like
a
1 year
Metroid
anniversary
for the
of the Switch.
Q4. I would assume. I'm
Yeah.
like, if I'm just looking at like your roadmap, I don't know. I can
but,
see it.
But everything else is like, oh, yeah, I'll probably play that. I'll
Okay.
probably play that. I'll probably play that. But nothing where I'm like, give it to
Yeah,
me
that's
now.
fair.
And anything that is close, anything that is like that is close enough to where why would I waste my choice on that?
Okay.
But like Spider-Man, God of War, the stuff that I want to play.
Far
Wolf
Cry?
looks so good.
Far Cry, I loved Blood Dragon. Like I liked 3, I was okay with 4, but Blood Dragon hit me because of the tone.
For sure.
So I know that the tone's not like that. I would like to play it, but it's one of those things where it's like, oh, maybe I might Redbox it and play it with
I
y'all.
want to play that with you guys so bad. I think streaming that is going to be
That'd be
unbelievable.
so
Yeah.
Co-op.
fun.
A co-op.
I played 3 and 4 co-op. All that you could in those games. Loved
But this
them.
one's full.
I know. That's what I'm very excited about.
A big release this year, The Division. I'm excited to play The
That's
Division.
not a thing. Is that your bold prediction?
No. I think
I-
Division might go to 2.0.
I think like 2016, 2015, 2016, 2016 is when the Division came out, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw an announcement this year and it came out in 2019. I don't think we get a Division this year. But we don't know what Ubi's got locked and loaded.
Exactly.
We really
and,
don't.
And they're like, also that's coming out.
Yeah, exactly.
In a week.
We don't have any idea outside of Far Cry is the last thing that we know, right? So like,
Mm-hmm.
is it a Splinter Cell? Is it a Division? Is it another Watch Dogs? I'd play some Watch Dogs.
And I would say Sea of Thieves, but if I'm getting it now, nobody else is playing, so I won't be able to play with anybody.
Okay.
But that's one that I'm really excited for. But considering it's a multiplayer,
I'm gonna play it to play with you guys. I'm playing
Yeah.
100%. I'm buying that to play with you guys.
Now, wild
Did you
prediction
look
time.
at that the like progression and stuff systems for that
No,
game?
did they announce that?
Yeah, they put a video up
Oh shit!
on,
Is it? No,
on
I
YouTube.
didn't.
Yeah, because
Damn.
that open beta happened, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
people were
another
playing the
one's
game,
happening.
but there's like questing and like, so the world that you go to is instanced, right? But there's other groups
Sure.
in there
Yep.
that can be doing whatever, and they say that it tries to spawn you like in your own spot, and then as you travel, you end up like running into other people
Sure, yeah.
that you can interact however you choose with. But it seems really interesting, and like, so there's no RPG elements in the sense of like weapons and stuff. Like they
Okay.
don't get better. Your pistol is your pistol when you start the game.
Yep.
As the end. Same thing.
Is there,
as
like,
all
ammo?
the other items. Yeah, there is ammo and
Okay.
resources. So you have to collect cannonballs, and there's like bananas you eat which like heal you and things of that nature.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm into it.
it looks really interesting.
I
Yeah,
think
that's
I think
March.
it could be a sleeper hit, man. I think it seems to be really picking up momentum in a really good way. So, yeah, I'm playing with you guys. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. Wild prediction time. I made mine. New Mortal Kombat's coming out this year before the end of the year.
Nate, was there a game that you were excited about? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut that out.
We skipped you. I'm so
he hates
flippin'
everything.
sorry.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
I want to hear one ray of hope
I'm
from
so
the
sorry.
sunshine over there.
Red Dead, Far Cry,
Okay. Metro Exodus.
the new WoW expansion coming.
The
at the
Metro
end of
looks
the year.
okay, but I haven't flippin' played any of them.
Okay. Do you guys think Days Gone comes out this year?
I don't care.
I know.
I really
don't
don't
care.
care.
State of
I
Decay
know.
2.
State of Decay 2, so you can
That
play
I
that?
wanna
Oh, is that this
play.
year?
Fuck, dude.
That's supposed to come out this
Okay.
year.
Yeah, and you can play. You can cross play with
Yeah.
Xbox and PC.
Yeah.
So you and me,
and
man.
it's co-op.
Let's go kill
too,
some
so
fucking
it's not just
zombies.
single player.
Oh.
And I want him to yell, "What's up, nerds?" as he kills the zombies.
What's up,
I saw it as a- That's what I
You know, I
want.
kind of need that too.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
What we
God,
need
with a
is
catchphrase
a
like
zombie
that.
mod for PUBG.
God.
Sorry,
So I'm
prediction
sorry, Nate.
time.
I apologize. Wild prediction. What do you got? Anything. Anybody.
Nate? Nothing.
Cool.
I got
Moving on.
I mean,
Series.
apparently my
I got a
wild
couple.
prediction is that Kingdom Hearts is actually going to come out
That's
this year.
That's insane.
It's coming out this
So-
year.
I'll throw that down.
That's insane.
It's
I mean,
coming out this
I
year.
want that for you guys.
December
will-
31st,
it
2018.
will
I
come out
I
this
want
year.
that for you guys.
It's still this year.
It will happen.
Man.
Worst case scenario, it comes out unfinished and they add worlds as like DLC /
Or patches.
later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no at this point. They have to have something. They have to like this.
I want it for you guys. I do. I'm not trying to shoot
for
this down.
me,
I
for the
want no, I want
shareholders.
you guys to be happy. I want it for you. I don't know the shareholders. Mark, do you have like crazy ones? I got a few.
My crazy one was Mortal Kombat.
Was Mortal
Like,
Kombat? I think
I've
so.
heard so many things from various sources and websites and things, and it's gotten me super hyped that there's usually a bit of an off cycle.
Yep.
If it doesn't come out this week, this year, they're at least going to announce that Mortal Kombat's coming.
Yep.
And they'll do like an every 2-year cycle where early next year Mortal Kombat will drop, and then early 2021, I guess, Injustice 3 drops. But that's one of mine. I think there's going to be another, like, Dark Souls coming to Switch, even though it was a remaster, was still pretty big.
Cool.
I think we're going to get more HD remakes coming to Switch, because Doom was the first one of like, holy shit, this kind of game can happen on a Nintendo console, and I can take it with me. I think there's just going to be more developers that are going to be like, hey, Splatterhouse, exclusively for the Switch.
Sure.
Something.
Okay. I have so many predictions.
I'm happy about that. Why don't you tell us what some of them are?
I'll rapid fire them. So I think Halo comes out every 3 years, right? 2015, 2018 would be our Halo.
What's Halo?
It's this game with Master
Hello!
Chief.
Hello! Hello!
I think it gets pushed to 2019.
Is Master Chief still in those games?
Yes.
Is and so is some
Poor
dude
guy.
named Locke. And
Oh,
I think
five.
they drop the number and make it persistent, like shared world shooter. I think they're making their own destiny. Like I'm telling you, it's a weird prediction, but I could be way off. There's no inside knowledge there. I think that's a thing. I think this
I don't
year
want that.
Microsoft buys at least one, maybe two independent studios because they need first party studios real bad, and they need some games. We know that lighting up Fable. They're revisiting those ones. They have a bunch of dormant franchises. There's all this rumbling that the Coalition's actually going to do like a new Perfect Dark. So I think they need new franchises, and I think they either buy like Ninja Theory or IO Interactive, and bring them in house, which released Hellblade this year or Hitman. I think both of those guys are proven track records. It would be interesting to see if they did. Let's see. We see the new Rockstar game this year.
The new Rock Agent.
No, sorry, I meant Rocksteady.
Oh, Rocksteady.
Not
Okay.
Rockstar. And it's also not a single player game.
Is it a games as a service game?
I think so. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a games as a service, something in the DC universe, right? Like I still think they have that license. I think those guys would be beholden to Warner Brothers. Still owns them outright, so it'd be interesting to see what else they make. But I'm really anxious to see. Like I think some of the Batman games are some of the best ever made. I think they're so good. So I can't wait to see what they're doing this year.
Best ever made for Batman games?
Best ever Batman games or best ever games?
Period. They're so good. Yeah, I think
City's
the Batman
real
games
good.
are all. Yeah,
I like City.
City's my jam. You didn't like Asylum?
Asylum was good, but
Okay.
I think City, they got a little bit more to the core of what a lot of the villains were, instead of being like, hey, let's make Joker not the Joker.
I know. I agree.
So that brings up a really silly question that I want to ask everybody. What franchise is going to be the next games as a service
The next
franchise?
all of
Star
them.
Wars?
Well, we know that one already because they announced that they're changing what Amy Hennig was working at Volition
Yeah,
into
so that's
a
not
games
the
as a
next.
service.
I mean, we won't see that for fucking a while.
But I mean, just in general,
Sure.
like what franchise do you think they're gonna? You know what this needs to be ongoing.
All of the Splinter Cell. I think every game we see.
You think Splinter Cell is gonna come
I wouldn't
back?
be surprised. Like, look, that's Ubi's model, right? Like, they'll release this game again, games as a service that continually get better. Like, dude, IGN just re-released their review for Rainbow Six. Like,
Siege?
Rainbow Six Siege, because the game keeps getting better, right? Like, and so I wouldn't be surprised if like literally everything Ubi did. I don't know. I don't know. But, and some people are okay with that. I hope, like, for example, that there's a clear delineation, because that's what I want out of Red Dead, would be like a very focused single player campaign like GTA 5 did, right? Like you play that campaign but also have this online persistent world you can exist in if you want. It's tough when I think that's everything. I don't know if there's just one I could single out. I don't know, Stacey, do you think anything?
I know, I feel like I could think of I could see a few franchises moving there, not one particular that I think is gonna pop up. I mean, this year necessarily.
Okay, is this gonna be more of the fad? Nate, what franchise do you want to see get destroyed?
Well, destroyed. That's
I mean,
different.
I'm sorry, games as a
That's
service.
very different.
Games as a service. Excuse me.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not really. There aren't any. Okay. In the PC world, us master gamers,
Yeah, there it is.
we're used to this.
I know.
I've been playing WoW for
Right.
almost
Yeah.
a lot of my life.
Yeah. And you just resubbed.
Just
Just rubbing that in. Just,
games
I'm
as a
just gonna keep bringing
service,
that up.
can.
getting games, getting updates like this is nothing new for me. It's like I don't understand why people buy Call of Duty, World War II or 5 or Advanced. Like I stopped doing that in like 2007, 2008. So like I don't know. I'm kind of like detached, I think, from that. I'm not surprised to see more franchises moving in that direction, but I think that format doesn't work really well with consoles because the hardware you have is the hardware you have. And they can update the game, they can balance the game.
Optimize.
Yeah, they can optimize a little bit, but they can't make big sweeping engine changes. They can't like completely redo the VFX.
No,
they can't
but do
redo all the
need to? Like
Yeah, well, they did it in WoW, and that game has been going on for how long? And how
WoW
many
is the
people
gold
playing?
standard. I agree, but you have
Right.
to admit that like right now that hardware is way outpaced what that game does visually. Because like right now, like that is
Right.
arguably a really ugly game.
So we can
because
look
it's
at
10 years old.
but we can look at League of Legends,
Sure.
which is now 7, almost 8 years old.
Yep.
And that game has gone through the same thing. If you look at what League looked like
Yeah,
season 1, it
sure.
looked like
But my point is that like we know that Grand Theft Auto 5 alone, the online portion, what netted out like $1.8 billion for them. That's not including what they sold the copies of the game for.
Yeah, but-
and this is all a console game.
but I don't that doesn't
they proved it out. And my point is
But
like if
that's
they're
not-
making that kind of money, like everybody wants in on that. And
Right.
Destiny was
But the
second
problem
best-selling
is
CD this year.
my issue is the delineation between like games as a service. The game is being updated, the game is being changed, and games as a service. Here we're gonna keep giving you stuff to buy. Like they're not making big change. There's no balance changes to GTA 5. There's
No.
There's
new content.
stuff you can buy.
Yeah,
there's
there's
new
content,
missions,
two different
content,
races.
content you can buy. There's a
No.
couple races. There's
Yeah,
a couple.
yeah,
There's a
yeah.
couple missions.
There's
There's
stuff
a
that gets
couple heists. But the majority of the content, the vehicles, the apartments, all that stuff is stuff you buy, and you can buy the shark cards and get it, or you
Sure.
could play the game.
And grind
but also,
and grind
yeah,
and-
some
No,
of-
I know.
And
Yeah.
those totals, and then also there's the whole hacker thing. It's not as prevalent on consoles as it is on PC,
Sure.
but it is there,
Yeah.
and that completely screws up the economy. So I see what you're saying, and I think they've definitely gone about it, especially in that console market, much better than a lot of the other ones. But I
Sure.
think there's just a lot of, I don't want it to turn into, oh, we can do games of service because it's gonna make us a truck ton of money. It's gonna be games of service because we can make the game better, and we're gonna make a truck ton of money.
Sure.
So like the optimization on console hits a limit once you hit the max output of what the console can do.
Well, it's just like-
technologically.
Yeah, like
So-
look at Destiny. Like they could not do the things that they want, even if they wanted to just take Destiny 1 and just update it a little bit to make it. They had to rebuild the whole engine. So
Yeah, no.
I don't.
it's things that like that.
Help me with what your contention is, though, because I think like if we define games as service as a game where a game evolves and there's new content both free and paid for, right? If that's how we're defining
but
it.
I'm talking about services in like League gets.
But that's the definition.
Servicing.
Balance,
there's
Games as a service.
Yes.
That is the definition.
Well, and that's why I said both of the sides are games as a service.
Sure.
But the service you're getting is different. One is just serving you, hey, here's some stuff you can buy. Buy it. Here you go. Now you can play it. One is like, okay, that champion's too strong. Great, we're gonna change. Let's check back 2 weeks. Let's see what's going on. That needs to be changed. Great. Oh, there's a bug. Cool. Let's fix that. By the way, in a couple weeks, this champion, which is 4 years old, is getting a kick rework.
Yeah.
That's a different type of service. They're both games as a service, but that's a completely different type of service.
would
and how the
assert
game
that-
runs. Like, well, I see what you're saying.
I would
Dave.
assert that it happens on all. They like there's just a huge remap. Like they just totally overhauled Ghost Recon. Like that is happening.
I don't think you understand the level of balance and constant changes that go into games like
But it's
League
not.
of Legends
It's not
and Dota.
needed for those other games, right? Like they're constantly versus. Like it's like Overwatch. There's constant like balance changes because things
Even
need buffs and
Overwatch,
nerfs.
even Overwatch goes
But it's not
way longer
Sure.
between balance changes.
But like, okay, so like if the contention, like, so then if you're really myopically defining games as a service as like where we're
I'm
getting.
not doing that. They're both games as a service. I'm just saying that there is a differentiate. There are two different kinds. They both are fit within that definition.
And your definition applies to like competitive multiplayer where there needs to be balancing issues, which still happens on consoles, like which happens with like Rainbow Six. So I think it's still happening. I'm just saying, like, my contention is that we're saying the same thing. I think that my contention is that both are still happening on console.
I think
Yes.
if
He's
okay, all right. Anyway, moving on. Just because. There was one other fucking thing that I want to say. Okay, so going in terms of the optimization and we talk about, especially with various games, that sometimes there's a lot of stuff that aren't in games as they release. Ubisoft being a good example of stuff where they dish it out, they change, they update, they add new stuff. Are game developers releasing games too early / are expected turnarounds too short?
Oh, that's a good question. You look pensive, Nate.
Yes.
Because there's, I think the yearly release game cycle that sports games that have since given that to shooters, have since then given that to franchises, where it's only a matter of time until franchises, I'll just use Assassin's Creed, the turnaround is too quick, the teams are too small, the optimization, the QA isn't there, and we get something like Unity.
Yep.
And
that was a new console too. That was a new generation.
But that's still, if they had more time with the console, instead of them going, we want an Assassin's Creed game at launch, go!
Right. Yeah, they were building for like target specs. Like they didn't even know. Yeah,
exactly.
You're right.
So that's the thing. If they had more time,
or even look at Destiny and like how they. Like they made that decision to completely redo the main story, but still had to pump that game out for that release date. Mm-hmm. Like that's absurd.
Yeah, what's the is it Miyamoto's quote that like a delayed game is delayed, a good game that's delayed will always be remembered as a good game, but a game that's bad and released too early is just always bad.
Unity.
Yeah.
Unity is probably a great game.
Unity.
Nobody talked about it.
I know. I liked Unity more than most.
But
I've heard the
when
same
did you
thing.
finish? How long afterwards did you play?
I played at launch. It was not broken for me. Like I think that game suffered more than most games from the advent of the share button. Right? Like it was that first. It was. Don't get me wrong. It was glitchy for a major release, but like that was the first console where we all could go, share that. Like there's no skin on that guy's face. Like immediately, and I think that was like the first. That game was the whipping boy for that. And now all games, I do that right now. Like in Origins, like I had a camel just float by, just flew right by. And I was like, that's awesome. And of course I like Xbox recorded that because why wouldn't you? It's rad. But we're used to it now. And that game, we didn't have that ability. So anyway, I think Unity got beat up for that a little unfairly.
I've heard the same things about like Andromeda, or like it was just so buggy and awful in the beginning, but they ended up fixing it. And I had a friend who said he picked it up recently and he's like loving it. And I was like giving him the strangest look.
I've never seen a major console release more fucked up at launch, dude. This straight up like immediately going into T poses, like skating around, and like I had a quest character who I met on a planet. and then showed up on your equivalent of the Normandy for no reason. They're just hanging out there. I was like, that doesn't. I can't.
Just a shared model.
Super broken. Yeah.
Just a shared model. So Stacey, what do you think?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think when we're pumping out games on a yearly basis, we have issues like that going on. But then think about a game like Final Fantasy 15. That took 10 years, and it was still unfinished when it came out. So is the game ever...
But that game was unfinished in that there was more content they wanted to add to it, right? Like,
No, it was unfinished
Was
as in
it?
there were entire areas that were developed, but they did not have the time to go through and develop the story for it before they were pushed to release this game.
It's weird. There's geometry on the map that like you can get there, but like it's empty. It's weird.
You can get to these areas, and they are full areas that you can go walk around. I mean, they've since fixed most of the like glitches to get into these areas, but they are there. They
there's
exist.
geometry built that they just don't use.
There are places that they meant to explore that they just didn't.
Yeah.
But what was the point of the question, though, Mark? Is your concern like that it's a troubling time in the industry, or
I think that studio expectation versus like crunch ultimately for the developers that get overworked to try to hit a deadline. Whereas God of War 4, it's been, well, I mean, not since a God of War. When was the last God of War game? Was a not the remaster of 3.
What was the one of the multiplayer? Ascension. Yeah.
So yeah, but
wow, that's an eye roll. I didn't
but that
play
was
it either.
but that was late PS3.
Sure.
And then we got a God of War 3 remaster, and it's been nothing since. Not to say that studio hasn't been working on anything, but it was or same thing with if you release a landmark title, the studios tend to be a little bit more lenient. Like Last of Us 2, when's that coming? Whatever.
When it's done.
When it's when it's done. Not everybody gets that advantage, and with a market that's so oversaturated with indie titles and even studios that have control of their own indie studios, they're trying to not just, hey, we want that game to be a PlayStation game, thank you, come again, but they want to then take that, whether that's a sink or swim for that studio, they then say, all right, now make us something else in 6 months.
Yep.
It's more about what the developers can physically do versus what the studios want. That's why.
I think the hype is also part of the problem too. We live in such a hype culture that, especially when you have these things that have these, concrete release dates, that almost amplifies the hype even more, because you're like, all right, it's coming.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, it's coming when it's coming. Like, cool, I'm like excited whenever. Like, you're like, all right, it's 2 months away, 1 month away. All right, I got it. And you open it up, and it's just like a buggy mess. And then it's exponentially worse than if it was just like, oh, this game is out.
It's tough though, right? Because, and again, I know I'm always business guy, but these guys actually announced these on their quarterly earnings call, right? So they have to put a stake in the ground and tell shareholders when their next title's coming in. So it's not just for like internal road mapping, like their quarterly finances depend on the shit. And so like, I guess I'm sympathetic to like there needing to be a date, but I actually love, and I think even Naughty Dog's this weird exception because like they're a first party studio that's wholly owned by Sony, and so their benchmark really isn't even total units or revenue generated, which is why you probably don't see like a ton of microtransactions there. They're part of that benchmark for success internally is like consoles moved, right? And so like they're kind of in their unique, so I don't know, like I think it's tough for us to say universally it's broken, because I don't know that every team suffers from crunch, and like teams ballooning, I don't know how it's sustainable.
Well, you asked me what was behind the question.
Oh yeah.
That was my reason behind it.
I just because I don't know that's sustainable. I actually get really worried about this. So like Assassin's Creed Unity, there was 1,000 people that worked on that across like
worldwide
6
studios.
1,000 people for 4 years. I don't think there's a chance in hell they made their money back. Like it was the 3rd or 4th best-selling SKU this year, right behind Destiny. It was Call of Duty, Destiny, and those two were flipped from a revenue perspective. Like Assassin's Creed was like 4th.
But didn't they get packaged in with Xbox One X's?
No. It was a co-marketing agreement.
Okay.
But like my point, like I don't know how that's sustainable. I don't know, and I think that's one of the reasons that, like that is one of the last like single player non-games as a service, because those games have a shorter revenue tail, right? Like these long games where you can keep, even if it's selling something, or hey, here's a new race in GTA, and then we're going to sell you 6 other things. Yep. It allows that model of those AAA to be sustainable, and I think that's why, like, I know it's shitty, but like I want games to go up in price. I'd rather spend $70 on a game or $80 and never spend microtransactions and keep these places in business.
I think this is that natural progression of that, where like the last few years the games went from 30 to 40 to 50 to 60. Instead of going to 70, they're doing this games service to offset their costs.
And I think I'm okay with it because they've done like
we got to wrap.
So many things. Anyway,
no, I know.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah.
If you were here the past 2 weeks,
I know.
No
I have
offense.
so much to say.
That wasn't a dig.
All good.
We would have had more time to talk about it, but unfortunately we don't. We got to get out of here real quick. Twitters and we got to go. Patrick.
Yo, I'm a Peter the Dees on Twitter, so hit me up and tell me why I'm wrong about all the shit I said today. Stacey.
Oh, jeez, chill out.
Find me all over the web at Stacey Shuttles. Nate.
A dog like Nate. That's me.
You can find me on Twitter at Mark Donica. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be streaming here for the rest of the week. Please make sure to subscribe, like us. Thanks again to the folks at the Popcorn Talk Network. And we'll see you next time. Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
guys.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.